you want to step back from the day-to-day operations of your business and delegate, you need to have solid SOPs. I run a 7-figure staffing agency where we've placed hundreds of new hires in our clients' businesses. And so I've seen exactly what works and what doesn't work when it comes to creating SOPs, standard operating procedures. And a lot of people overthink this. They either spend weeks creating these massive documents, these big databases of all of this education that nobody actually reads, or they skip this process entirely because they think it's just too much work. So in this video, I'm going to break down our step-by-step process for writing SOPs that will help you easily delegate any task in your business. Let's get into it. Step 1 is to map your process. I like to do this visually first. So the first step is to map out the entire workflow, and you need to do this before you actually start doing any writing. I use Mural, which is a digital whiteboard tool. It really helps you to break down tasks and document each of these steps visually first, and it's fantastic for helping you map out your just overall thought process. It also comes in handy for collaborative brainstorming sessions, just like a Google Doc where you can all edit at the same time. Now, visually mapping this process matters because once you have your entire process mapped out, you can then look at each step and see which tasks are rinse and repeat. So you're looking for those points where each time someone comes through that part of the process, it's the exact same process with the exact same output every single time. One example from our business is our referral program. So in this Mural, we have it broken down into, hey, this is when somebody wants to refer somebody to us. This is what happens every step after that. This is how we track the referral. This is the link that we give them. These are all of the different action steps that will happen once this trigger happens of, hey, somebody wants to give us a referral, or somebody, sent us an email introducing us to somebody else. Now, anytime you do this visual map then becomes the foundation for your SOP. So step 2, record yourself doing the task. This is where most people overcomplicate things. They try to write out every step from their memory, and in turn they miss details and they forget edge cases. The better and overall easier way to do this is to use Loom. Loom is a video recording tool that helps you create step-by-step training videos. It's used for a lot of different things, but we use it a lot for these step-by-step training videos. It basically records your screen, your webcam, your microphone, all at the same time. So all you do is hit record on your computer, walk through one of your processes. And once you have that recorded, you can now send that link to whoever you want to delegate it to. And to record an effective Loom, I recommend you actually do the task while recording and not just talk about it. So pull it up on your screen, walk them through the button clicks that you do every time you do that task or that project. And like I said, commentate as you go. Explain what you're doing and then also why you're doing it. And don't edit out any mistakes, because those are opportunities to share a lesson or specific things to pay attention to so they don't make those same mistakes. Now, my recommendation is to keep most Loom videos to under 5 minutes. I've just found that when you're sending training videos to people, they like to break it up into different chunks. And then also one benefit of doing these different 5-minute videos is that you can also go in and much more easily replace those videos if something becomes out of date. It's also helpful for whoever you're teaching, whoever you're delegating to. They can go in and say, hey, I just want to see this part of the process. Of course, you can edit the Loom video and make different chapters and splice it up very neatly, but that does take a little bit more work. And for you, if it's easier, just go in, record one 5-minute video, go in and record the next 5-minute video, and then you can always replace those very easily if you need to update anything in the back end. This Loom video alone is already a solid training tool. You can literally just hand that to somebody and they can probably do a lot of what they need to get done. But we are going to take it one step further. Step 3, use AI to convert your recording into a written SOP. So really all you need to do is you take your Loom recording, you download, copy the transcript, and then you give that to ChatGPT, Gemini, whoever, and you can just say, hey, adapt this transcript, this video to become an SOP I could give someone else on my team. ChatGPT will then turn your rambling walkthrough, your commentary into a clean, organized document that has step-by-step instructions and very clear, clean formatting. It should be very easy to follow at this point. And like with any ChatGPT prompt, you can always prompt engineer a little bit. So say, hey, I want this to be, 10 steps. I want this to be 15 steps. I want this to be very concise, or maybe I want this to be more detailed, or hey, please include some of my commentary as just a note section below the SOP steps. Those are a few tips that I would give you as you prompt engineer this SOP creation. Now, the key here is that you are not starting from scratch. You are basically just refining what you've already recorded. So this makes creating these SOPs super easy and very efficient. Before I continue, if at any point in this video you want us to help you find and place the right person in your company so that you can actually delegate these tasks tasks to somebody and hopefully free up your time and scale faster. Make sure you click the first link in the description below. And now let's get back to the video. Step 4, package it together. Now you have two assets. You have the original Loom video with all of your commentary. You have this cleaned up written SOP from ChatGPT, and it's important that you give this person both of these assets. So they get the step-by-step process that they can reference to very easily as they go through the process. But if they ever need more clarity, if they ever want to see your commentary, they have that available to them in this Loom recording. Now, this combination works because everybody is different. Everybody learns differently. Some people learn better by reading. Some people learn better by watching. Now, with these two assets, you are covering all of your bases. In my experience, if it's a repeatable process, it takes people roughly 2 weeks to get to a point where they don't need you anymore. They don't have any other questions. They've also experienced some mistakes, some issues on their first run-throughs. They're now confident enough to run this task by themselves. And that is with both the video and the written SOPs. So after you hand them the SOP and the Loom video, you should not have to do a lot of hand-holding. I really truly used to think certain tasks could only be done by me. I thought training somebody else would decrease the quality of the work. But once I created SOPs this way, the team did the tasks just as well. And in a lot of cases, they did them better than me. And that's really when I realized that the SOP was doing the heavy lifting, not me. Step 5, store and organize your SOPs. So now that you've created the SOP, you need somewhere to store it. You don't want to create a new SOP every time you make a new hire. I recommend using Notion. We use Notion to store a lot of our SOPs. We can write detailed task descriptions along with checklists to help us track task completion step by step for each one. I've also used Monday.com extensively. They have a really solid project management flow. And so you can have Monday docs where you store all of these SOPs, and then you can have the actual project task completion tracked on Monday.com. So you could have some kind of template. So here's a Monday.com board that I've created for my own personal to-do items. And also I share this with my executive assistant. So I have these 4 different groups here: Radar, Open Projects, Miscellaneous, and Done. For me, this flow has worked really well. So Radar is basically all of these random ideas or to-dos that I have that I just jot down. I write down the description, I write down whatever I was thinking in my head about that task, and I jot it down in the Radar. I can always review this, every week, every month, even every quarter to say, hey, any of these things need to be prioritized and moved down into Open Projects. Open Projects is really where I'm mostly working day to day. These are the things that I need to get done, today or this week or, per quarter even. And these open projects, they can have different statuses. They can have different people assigned. They can also have different priorities. So some are 5 stars, some are down to 3 or even 1 star. So, and then we can also have due dates. So this needs to be done on this day. And these are a few of the columns I've found to be very helpful. Monday.com is really nice because you can also automate a lot of different stuff on these boards. So if I have a due date of July 18th, I can automate this so that it notifies me and or my executive assistant, say, hey, this task is due in 7 days, in 5 days, in 3 days. Hey, this task is due today. Little automations like that combine notifications are really helpful, especially with these to-do boards. And of course, miscellaneous, these are things that have come to my mind, are not really important. It's basically just a backlog, things that I don't really need to worry about. And then done. Every time I click a status as done, a task is completed, it can send it down to that group. And then it's very easy for me to go back through, see what tasks I've completed recently, see what projects have been done, and then also even track my own productivity. How many tasks am I completing each and every week? Whichever one you choose, you need to religiously document these SOPs and your workflows. Every task should come with some kind of SOP, regardless of the scale or frequency or importance of it. You also want your team to know exactly where to find these things and how to communicate. So where do the SOPs live? Do they live in Notion? Do they live in Google Drive? Do they live in Monday.com? Do I have access to all of these SOPs? Make it obvious. And one thing that I found has worked really well is to have a dedicated Slack or Teams channel for them to ask questions so that they're not DMing you every 5 minutes. They're not cluttering any other communication channel. There's a central channel where they can ask questions. And if it works, have all the other team members on that channel as well. If there's nothing too sensitive, then anybody else could come in and help answer questions as well. Step 6, create templates for consistency. So once you've created a few SOPs, you'll notice patterns. We've developed various templates to help us save time and stay consistent. Gmail and Superhuman templates for email, Canva templates for graphics and presentation, pre-templated forms for role and project scopes. Now, these templates serve two purposes. They speed up creation of new SOPs, and they also make sure that everything is consistent. Step 7, test and iterate. So to be honest, your first version of your SOP will not be perfect, and that is okay. The real test is, can someone follow it without asking you questions? In those first 2 weeks after handing over an SOP, it's really important that you over-communicate and provide as much information as possible. And if you hold back, they are going to keep coming to you for questions. So again, try to get everything out of your brain onto a recording or onto the actual written SOP. Now, whenever you do get a question, make sure you use those questions to improve the SOP so that the next person or the next time they go through that task, they won't have the same question. And if they continue to ask the same thing over and over again, obviously your SOP is missing something. So add that, clarify it, and even update the Loom video if needed. The goal is really to help them build up confidence and allow them to solve problems as they come up on their own. A great example of this is my EA, Isa. She followed all of the SOPs, she mastered her role, she eventually systematized everything so well that she moved into a different position, into actually an HR role, and she now handles onboarding for 70 plus new VAs. So that's what a good SOP can lead to, people growing into bigger roles because they've got such a solid foundation to build on. Now, SOPs are only part of the process when it comes to outsourcing work. There's a lot more that goes into it, like figuring out what tasks are actually eating up your time, finding the right person, onboarding them properly, setting up communication systems, and making sure that the actual handoff sticks. That's what we do at Coconut. We help founders identify what they should be outsourcing, then we match them with some vetted executive assistant, marketing associate, whoever you need who can actually take that work off of your plate. If you want help with all of that, click the first link in the description below to book a free call. We'll look at where you might be wasting time, what you should be handing off, and how a VA can actually take that work off your plate. So again, click the link below to book a call. And if you want to see how I bought back 37 hours a week as a founder, then watch this video next.